Assalamualaikum dan salam sejahtera. My name is Muhammad Zulfadli bin Chohli. My matrix number is 070TP20F1010. This is presentation project 2. Introduction. Tool, dies and mold are utilized to make long-lasting items. After being carved out and molded during the creation of tool and dies, metal forms known as dies are used to stamp or forge metal and other materials into precise shapes. Another step in this process is the creation of metal mold from premix, plastic injection molding, and other materials. Tool and die companies in the United States are frequently modest enterprises that make a wide variety of components for large producers who then construct a variety of goods, from home appliances to vehicles. Objective: first, to know the cutting operation. Second, to know the types of dies in the manufacturing process. And third, to know die design equipment. And the last, to the third blanking dies design. The fundamentals of die cutting operation including: number 1, plain blanking. Blanking activities are the first metal cutting operation in the process planning sequence that varies the outline of a part starting with wrought material. Number 2, piercing. During the shearing process, a machining tool is used to enter raw metal and create to a hole of any shape. Scrap is the metal that comes through the newly produced hole as the raw metal is perforated. The piercing machine drives a blanking punch through the sheet metal. Number 3, lancing. Lancing is a piercing process that shears and bends the workpiece with a single hit of the die. One important aspect of the process is there is no metal reduction, merely a change in its shape. This procedure is used to create taps, bends, and louvers. And last, cutting off and parting. During the shearing process, a machining tool is used to enter raw metal and create a hole of any shape. Scrap is the metal that comes through the newly produced hole as the raw material is perforated. The piercing machine drives a blanking punch through the sheet metal. The fundamentals of die cutting operation including: number 1, notching. A tiny scrap piece of the work skin fringe is removed during the cutting process the sheet metal. Superior press, tool and die design usually result in a effective notching operation. Number 2, shaving. Deshaving is a free cutting gear finishing procedure that includes removing a little amount of metal from the working surface of gear teeth. Index, helix angle, tooth form and eccentricity error are all supposed to be corrected. Furthermore, by adopting capped tooth forms, the method can improve tooth surface polish and eliminate the risk of tooth and load concentration in service. Shaving allows for form modification that reduce gear noise. These enhancements can boost the load bearing capacity, safety factor, and service life of the gear. And last, trimming. Trimming is a finishing step used in the production process to remove flesh from forged product. Flesh is a common feature in the majority of metal forgings. Trimming is detailed in this section despite the fact that it is not a forging or forming action in general. Trimming involves forcing a path through a cutting die that passes around the edge of the product. The cutting action in punch and die operation. When the punch makes contact with the material of the workpiece supported by the die, pressure is created. When this happens, the work material's elastic limit is exceeded, and the substance begins to flow plastically. After the punctures the work material, a matching amount of the blank is put into the die aperture. The hole and blank have rounded top and bottom edge. The slag material is compressed against the die hole walls, which burnish a part of the blank edge. Relation between die clearance with the cutting action in punch and die operation. Press work entails shearing sheet metal, which stretches the metal to the point of fracture beyond its ultimate strength when it is squeezed between two cutting blades. The cutting motion is depicted in the diagram below. As the punch forces the sheet metal into the die hole, the material is subject to a variety of pressure at various points during the die cutting process. As shown in Fig, the following are the numerous steps in the material's rupture of friction. Stretching the material beyond its elastic limit. First, plastic deformation. Second, reduction in thickness. And last, friction. Expose the types of die in manufacturing process. Blanking die. A blanking die, as seen in Fig 10, is used to make counter shapes. In some cases, the blanket contour becomes the contour of the product as it is, while in others, it is the developed shape of a product made by bending, drawing, and so on. This is one of the most fundamental types of press shaping. Piecing die. In the shearing process of piecing, a punch and die are used to cut a hole in a sheet of metal or a plate. The procedure and equipment are frequently the same as those used in blanking, with the exception that the item being punched out in the piecing process is with only a handful of the many specialty piecing techniques are rinsing, perforating, notching, nibbling, shaving, cutting off, and dinking. Expose the types of die in manufacturing process. Bending die. The bend die is a device or mold that allows tubes to be bent around it and determines the final shape of the bent tubes. Which bend die should be used is determined by the parameter of the bent tube and the bending machine. This variable have a considerable impact on the size and shape of the bend die. Forming die. Forming dies are used for metal press forming and manufacturing after being installed in a press. A die is a metal block used to shape materials such as plastic and sheet metal. A single shape is used to create a plastic sheet. Although vacuum forming is a simple thermoforming technique, it follows the same principle as die forming. Complete the die designing. Die block. In the industrial sector, a die is a specialist machine tool used to shape or profile, cut, and or form material. Stamping dies, as opposed to drawing dies, used to manufacture wire, and casting dies, used to make molds, are used with a press. Dies like molds are normally custom made for the thing they are used to make. Dies are used to make everything from simple paper clips to complex components used in cutting-edge technologies. Continuous feed laser cutting could replace equivalent die-based approaches in a range of industry, including automotive. Complete the die designing. Pilot strippers and pressure pad. Pilot manufacturing is defined as manufacturing in the United States of America of FDS or modules that have not been released for volume manufacturing by the end of the new product transition, and manufacturing in any other country that is specifically identify from time to time in an attachment to this agreement as a country in which supplier may provide FDS modules that have not been released for volume manufacturing, pilot manufacturing excludes R&D manufacturing. Strippers: to remove undesirable components from process stream, we utilize stripping columns. Ammonia is taken out of water and wastewater feed streams using the stripping column. As shown below, this section provides an overview of the several types of stripping column and steam stripping. Complete the die designing. Force mechanism involved in die operation. Stretching. The punch is lowered in this approach as the sheet is twisted and molded to the shape of the die while clamped around the die chamber. Because the sheet metal is pinched off the edge, it contracts and things throughout the formation process. Radial strain causes the deformation of the sheet. Stretch produces objects frequently feature large bend with large bend radius. Simple curves, face or complicated uneven cross section can be found in shape. Smooth surface can be accurately shaped using stretch shaping. Deep drawing. The blank holder clamps the sheet metal over the die, which feature a hollow in the part outer form. The punch pushes sheet metal downward into a die chamber. Bending methods. Coining. In coining, the top tool applies 5 to 30 times the force of a bending to the material as it is forced into the bottom die, permanently deforming the sheet. There isn't much, if any, bounce back. Coining can result in a V opening that is 5T wide and has an interior radius as low as 0.4 T. Coining can achieve high precision, but because it is more expensive, it is not frequently utilized. Complete the die designing. Bending allowance and bending pressure. Bending allowance: the amount of material that must be added to the sheet metal overall length in order for it to be cut to the proper size is known as the bend allowance. GPa or gigapascal units are used to express metal density. The stiffer a material is, the higher its gigapascal value. When enough force is applied, molecules with a hollower density may move because they have more space to travel in. Bending pressure: the force needed to generate a free bend is the bending force being discussed here. To stabilize the shape during bending operation, bottom bending is usually utilized at the bottom dead center. Depending on how much bottoming has occurred, a very strong force is needed to cause bottom bending. That force is thought to be 5 to 10 times stronger than the free bending force. This is performed 3D design of blanking dies. Perform 3D design of blanking dies. A blanking dies of the blanking part. A detailed drawing of the blanking dies. Perform 3D design of blanking dies. The assembly of the blanking dies and exploded drawing of the blanking. Describe the sustainable elements to increase the life and awareness of environment. Environmental tools are methods that encourage behavior that is compatible with the environment in order to achieve environmental goals and outcomes. To better understand the range of tools accessible to the government and its stakeholders, this environmental tools guide was developed as a resource for policymakers. Optimize your depth of cut. The amount of material you can remove per pass without Dragging the object out of the chuck often determines the optimum depth of cut. For turning application, however, DOC should never be greater than half of the insert inscribed circle. Consider flank wear in your feed rate formula. While milling operators use inches per minute, which is calculated by dividing chip load per tooth by the number of teeth. Lathe operator in the US measure feed rate in inches per revolution (IPR). Feed at the higher end of the guidelines made by the maker of the cutting tools, since flank wear is the ideal kind of wear to have. Of course, this assumes that you have a firm knowledge of it and that your machine tool is powerful enough to handle it. Discussion. The only distinction between a tool and a die, according to this project, is that dies are a subset of tools, although not all tools are dies. All tools are tools, and all dies are tools. A tool in the metal stamping process can be almost any mechanical device used to cut, sharp, support, or mold metals. Blanking, piecing, notching, shaving, and other processes are used to create this sculpture on the sheets. Die design is essential when working with the sheet metal. A variety of criteria are considered when designing a die. Conclusion. To summary, tool dies and mold are critical components of the manufacturing process for long-lasting goods. Metal and other materials are cut and shaped with the tools. Dies are metal molds that are used to shape metal during stamping and forging technique. Metal molds can also be used to create polymers, ceramics, and composite materials. Furthermore, tool and die manufacturers play an important role in the development of machine components that affect innovation. As a professional machine tool and die manufacturers may notice the impact their occupation has on the world and various industries. This is frequently a very rewarding component of a professional job.